from WBNE.
Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we want to let you know that this episode of Bacon and Eggs is brought to you by our patrons. If you love this show and want to support us, we would love for you to support us. And the best way to do that is to go to patreon.com/baconandeggs and check out all the great reward tiers we have there. You can find something that looks good for you and fits your budget and help us out. It's super important to, even if not us, find somebody on Patreon to support who's creating content that you resonate with or enjoy, because giving back to those creators is, in a lot of cases, the only way or the biggest way that they are able to make a living. So head over to patreon.com/baconandeggs, check out our reward tiers, and maybe help us out a little bit. Thank you so much for donating, and thank you even more for listening. Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs. I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Chill.
And today we're making a movie.
Or maybe we're just fighting for credit.
So write the best script of your career.
And win your Oscar.
Because today we're bringing you
Mank.
Mank was directed by David Fincher. It came out on November 13th, 2020, which is 137 days ago. Had a $25 million budget, made like $100,000, $122,252 worldwide. Not great. Not great. Got an 83% critic rating and a 61% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. If you haven't seen it, it is on Netflix. And it's a 79 on Metacritic. Ethan, do you have a negative professional review?
I sure do. I have a negative review here from Tom Bond of One Room with a View. He says, if the normally flawless Fincher manages to prove one thing here, it's that creating a complex, entertaining, and tragic film about a complex, entertaining, and tragic man is a lot harder than Citizen Kane made it look.
Ooh. What do you think of that review? Do you agree, disagree?
We'll get into whether I agree or disagree here in a minute. You got a positive, a professional positive review here for me?
Chris Stuckman here, December 7th, 2020. He says, I loved looking at it, hearing it, and the actors in it, particularly Charles Dance. It feels like something I can study. It just doesn't feel like something I can enjoy watching again. B out of A.
I got a listener review here as well from Liam 2.0. I'll do the negative listener review. Liam says, mimicking Citizen Kane was a bold move as it highlights the areas where this non-linear plot fails to achieve its purpose. However, the bare-bones plot serves to accentuate Gary Oldman's spectacular performance and makes the fun moments even more exciting.
59 out of 100 on that one.
59 out of 100.
I have a positive listener review. This comes from Truman, 85 out of 100. Oldman puts in a remarkable performance. The nonlinear script works masterfully, and it introduced me to Citizen Kane, so top notches all around.
Tyler, 0 out of 100.
I don't want to.
You don't want to, yeah.
I don't want to.
Why is that? Does it start with a 4 or a 3?
I would feel wrong saying that. I really agree with Chris Stuckman here from chrisstuckman.com. Like, it's beautiful. The script is amazing in terms of like the writer, like the reader in me really enjoyed this. The writer in me really enjoyed this. The movie watcher in me was bored to tears.
That's so wild. Okay, so what is it?
It would be wrong to say that this was like a 30 or a 40, and I think that would be unfair to the film. 73.
That's a lot higher than I thought you were going to say.
Again, like on a rubric, this checks every Oscar box, except for like has black people other than one propaganda character and like the Bechdel test. But like other than those things, this is like an Oscar white person's movie about an Oscar-winning film that I've never seen.
To quote the great Pat McAfee on this one, this is a 100%er.
No, it is not.
Absolutely is.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is. No, if you're gonna be a dick about High School Musical and you're gonna be all like, oh, just live your dream. That everybody should just score movies exactly the way they want, and there should be no objectivity to it whatsoever. And you just love it if you love it. This is a 100%er. You can quote me on that. Write it down, take it to the bank. This
Oh
movie
my
slaps.
gosh. Oh, it so doesn't. I'm so surprised you think this is 100%.
Absolutely.
Oh.
You told me to use the 100% more. I'm going to use the 100% more. This is
I want you to.
This is
I'm
a
glad
100%er.
I'm glad you found one that you like. What do you love about this movie? You break it down. Sell me on it. Sell me on this.
First of all, it's not my job to sell you on it.
It is on the
it's
podcast.
not. It's not, though, because you demand that I like things like High School Musical.
No.
Yes, you do.
Well,
yes,
I don't
you
know
do.
how you didn't like High School Musical. Because
it was bad.
So much
Because they were
fun.
bad. Because they were bad movies made
Oh, man,
badly
I haven't had
with
that
bad
much
acting and bad
movie-
writing. This is a
I
movie
haven't
made
had-
well with good acting and good writing.
I haven't had that much fun watching movies in so long. And that's what it's all about.
I didn't have that much fun watching those movies. I have a lot of fun watching this movie. This I would have said probably a 75 first watch, a 100 second watch. Because a lot of people criticize the non-linearity of the plot a little bit in this one. And I will be honest, the first time I was a little bit lost. But I was lost in a way where I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to watch this again and get it. Like the Christopher Nolan factor.
Oh yeah, I didn't have that. Mine was I can't wait till this was over.
That's so whack, man. I just can't. I cannot put myself in that position.
Yeah, I was
This movie
like,
rips. You asked me what I wanted to cover. This is what I want to cover. This movie rips.
the nonlinear thing didn't throw me off at all. I didn't like that they didn't put dates on anything. They just said 1934. They didn't say like January 1934.
What does it matter?
That was more than one thing was happening in 1934 in this movie. That's what matters. Also, I do have a big bone to pick with the 20th century that it absolutely had nothing possible to control, but I'm so freaking pissed at the 20th century, and I'm done pretending that it's okay.
Okay.
You mean to no, we're going to walk through 20th century history and media. Okay, because this is Bolshevik, as they would say in this movie.
I don't think you can say that. I think that might be a slur.
If it is, I'm very sorry.
I don't know.
Early 20th century.
I'll find out between the time when this airs.
H.G. Wells writes War of the Worlds, does the War of the Worlds broadcast, revolutionizes what people know and the power of radio. Okay? Not much after that. Orson Welles, or H.G. Wells, Orson Welles. You see some similarities here? You know who Orson Welles is, Ethan? He's not the Citizen Kane guy. That's not why he's famous to history. You know who Orson Welles is? He's like the Prince of radio. I'm furious already.
About what?
Literally furious.
Why?
They're both named Wells.
What's the problem with that?
It gets worse, Ethan.
What is the matter with them both being named Wells? They're not even spelled the same.
Guess in 1940 guess who wrote 1984?
Dial the game back a little bit.
In 1940 whatever, guess who wrote 1984?
George Orwell.
George Orwell. What the f*** is that? You can't continue to have people named Well. H.G. Wells, Orson Welles, George Orwell. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Not to mention 1984. I understand it wasn't in the past then. It's in the past now. Stupidest thing I've ever heard. Oh, Tyler's not that big of a deal. Yes, it is.
You do
Guess
know.
who wrote a seminal piece of fiction in the 80s? About science fiction. Orson Scott Card. Orson. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The 20th century white men need better names.
You do
and
know
I'm not going to live with it anymore. I'm not going to just deal with this anymore. 20th century white men need better names. The Prince of Radio has the same name as H.G. Wells. That's the stupidest thing.
You know he's the guy that read Orson Welles did the broadcast, right? You do know that, right?
That's so stupid.
You do know that, right? Like
I don't care. Stupid. I'm so mad at the 20th century.
he's the guy that did the War of the Worlds broadcast.
That's so dumb.
Also, I believe H.G. Wells wrote that in the 1800s.
No, it was like 1919, wasn't it?
War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
I have no idea. The Invisible Man was like 1891. War of the Worlds, 1898. Yeah.
1898.
Have you read it? Have you read it?
Symphonia and Brothers.
Have you read it?
Have I read? No, I haven't read it.
It's very
Ethan.
clear that it is not 1919 when you read it. Those people do not know what the car is.
It's free on the Audible store, so I will read it at some point.
I started it and then I got because that was early into me trying to like read books at fast speeds.
Yeah,
and I took that one a little quick.
It's so short you don't even have to.
I was trying to make up time, right? Like I was like, okay,
Right.
This isn't a book I care about. It's free. I'm just gonna put it at 1.7. And he was like,
aliens.
well, and it's all like it's British, right? It's H.G. Wells. It's the Time Machine, so it's all like, oh, it's a very queer sort of fellow, and coming out of this big metallic device, we thought he might be, a Russian or something. We're not really sure how he got to Earth, and it turned out, and then he freaking zapped us. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Zapdos? That was the turn of the century right there. 1995. Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres. Mewtwo.
The circumstances of one's birth do not.
Do you
dictate.
remember in 2006 when Mewtwo put an album on every single iPod?
Oh, that was U2. They're a band from
U2.
Ireland.
Actually, I'm going to be frustrated about this. I'll be like, isn't the 21st century dumb? U2, Mewtwo, YouTube. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Bacon and Eggs 2100. That's going to be the podcast.
Man, you can wait till you hear that there are girls and boys named Tyler.
Oh my gosh. I've always said anytime a friend of mine is having a child, I push it so hard. Hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so you don't get this very often because you have what I would classify as a normal name. Tyler. People don't spell your first name wrong very often, I imagine.
No, they don't.
People love to spell my first name wrong.
How on earth would you spell it? The only other way to spell it is...
I get EATHAN.
That's people are stupid. That's
or
Orson's,
ETHEN.
That's like putting an E at the end of Wells. WELLES.
I have seen it's written ETHYN. I don't hate that.
I feel like that's an evolution, right? Ethan's solo album. Ethine.
I loved this movie. This is like if Hail Caesar was a drama.
Hail Caesar is absurd and wonderful. This has narrative.
Yeah, I just said it's Hail Caesar if Hail Caesar was a drama.
Hail Caesar's fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, there's something going on here where people are like, oh, everybody loves David Fincher. Who the heck is David Fincher?
David Fincher did Seven, I think Fight Club, Gone Girl, The Social Network.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Social Network. Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
He might not have done Fight Club.
Did Fight Club.
Yeah, he's a somebody.
Yeah, obviously it's a name that I knew. I don't want to pretend that
he did
I was
Gone
like,
Girl. That was his last film before this one.
He's doing World War Z too.
Ew.
Yeah.
That movie sucked.
Yeah.
That movie was like, how can we make the worst adaptation of a book ever?
I've seen Ready Player One.
Oh no, Ready Player One hits the beats at least.
Some of them.
You gotta read the book and then watch the movie. I'll tell you that much.
With World War Z or with Ready Player
With
One?
World War Z. With Ready Player One, you gotta read the book and pretend the movie doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then read the next book.
Yeah.
You know what's so weird? Ready Player One is so off that like it doesn't even color the way that I picture the characters.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
Like if I read Potter, right? I'm like, that's Daniel Radcliffe.
Right.
Yeah.
No, at no point is Ty Sheridan
Parzival.
Parzival, yeah.
Yeah, no.
No.
I do like the avatar for oh my gosh, the girl. The Artemis. I like hers. That one sticks pretty well in my brain.
TJ Miller as IROC hits pretty hard, honestly.
Yeah,
not that I want to be TJ. Yeah, the voice stands.
Yeah. Anyway, take me back to Mank. So, like, you've seen Citizen Kane?
I have several times. I like this better than Citizen Kane, so it has to be 100.
Do you like is Citizen Kane 100?
Citizen Kane is there's no fun factor to it whatsoever. Watching Citizen Kane is not like a romp, right? There's no box office There's no blockbuster factor to that at all. You're not watching the Avengers, right?
No Black Panther?
It's no Black Panther, right? It is so it is like
Is there a challenge for the throne of Wakanda?
no.
Then it can't be 100.
No. Citizen Kane is if Holden Caulfield tried to be president, basically. But was also rich.
Also, what was Bill Nye doing in this movie?
Playing Upton Sinclair, author of The Jungle.
Yeah. I was reading about Upton Sinclair during the film because I was bored.
I hate you.
Seems like a upstanding gentleman. Seems like that dude's works are about to get popular again.
Yeah, he was absolutely smeared back then by like Metro Golden Mayer, and
Oh, that's another thing I have a bone to pick with. Person named Mayer, I'm not cool with that. John Mayer, obvious exception. We love John Mayer, but like adults named Mayer, that's an elected official. That's not a name.
it's it's Mayer.
I know,
And-
but like on the lion logo before the Bond films, it's Metro Golden Mayer. Period.
It's not.
I know that, obviously. I watched the movie, Ethan. But that's what I've always said in my brain.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, you and I had very different childhoods.
Because I don't know who Mayer is.
Yeah.
Why would I know this random business exec? Is he Walt Disney?
Basically, yeah.
He had a park at Disney World.
He is the equivalent of, as far as filmmaking goes, yeah, he's pretty much the equivalent of Walt Disney.
I didn't know anything about Walt Disney growing up. I knew that he was maybe a little anti-Semitic and
Okay,
had a park.
I didn't really know anything about Samuel Goldwyn and Louis B. Mayer, but I knew their names. Like, I'm not saying that you should have, it's saying that I did.
So you're better than
Because I watched Herman Mankiewicz's grandson talk to me every Sunday about good movies.
Is that the guy on the Turner Classic Movies channel?
Yeah, Ben Mankiewicz, yeah.
Ben Mankiewicz. Is that a name that I'm supposed to know?
No, he's the Turner Classic Movies guy.
Oh.
He does The Essentials on TCM.
Oh. Is that channel still around?
Yep. They show banger films constantly.
I tell you, there was a recurring joke in this movie, and I'm sure there was some truth to it in a biography I'll read at some point. I'll be like, oh, it's cool they included that. Herman Mankiewicz disdain for the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Like the blockbuster before Jaws. He was like, oh, this is going to ruin Hollywood.
I thought you were going to have a bigger point to make, so I ate a Sour Patch watermelon.
Well, what do you think of the Sour Patch watermelon? Because to me, a sour watermelon is only ever sweet.
Candy bangs, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I've never had one, so I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, really?
I'm getting a review.
Bro. Go
I
out and
was
buy
going
it.
to say I
They're
don't
just
eat
like,
candy very much.
what's up?
I was going to say I don't eat candy very much, but I think that's a lie.
Yeah, I was going to say. That was like one time you tried to be like, oh, I don't drink soda. And I was like, that's absolute.
I do drink soda. I'm a soda drinker.
Yeah, no, they're really good. I fully enjoy them. They don't particularly taste like anything like watermelon.
Watermelon candy never does. That's what makes up watermelon candy.
Yeah, it's true.
It tastes like watermelon.
I've been a big fan of the watermelon push recently. I've been drinking the watermelon Red Bull. I like those a lot.
I'm of the belief, and I believe this across the board with energy drinks, anything other than the diesel version of that energy drink does not provide energy.
Yeah, so it's a disturbing fact that you'll learn eventually that the Monster Arnold Palmers do not have caffeine in them, which is a horrifying eventuality that I did learn at one point.
Wait a minute, what?
The Arizona, I mean the Monster, like the non-carbonated like sweet tea lemonade and sweet tea orangeade and sweet tea pink lemonade ones
Yeah.
don't have caffeine in them.
How?
They have the other stuff from the energy blend, like the ginseng and the bull semen and all that crap.
But it's not actually bullshit. There's no way. That's what
I don't know what taurine is. I have no idea. But yeah, there's no caffeine in those. Like none. I mean, there's probably some, but like not a substantial amount. Less than a Mountain Dew.
Right. So
Because I really just was like just putting my life on the line every time I got in the car with one of those behind the wheel.
I just feel like
But no, the Red Bull flavors are just basically diesel Red Bull that has something injected into it. Like they all just taste like Red Bull at the end of the day.
I see that's
something
the thing
else.
is like I think what gives me the energy is the jolt of like I think what I just drank tasted mostly like piss.
I
now I'm
follow the
awake.
dude on TikTok that reviews energy drinks, the sommelier that reviews energy drinks.
I follow him too.
And that dude teaches me that energy drinks taste like gummy worms.
Medium bodied, all of them.
Yeah. Bright, high acidity, full body, medium body. You know, you get unripe peach and orange peel and gummy worm and a little bit of white grapefruit. I'm like, bro, it's fucking Red Bull. It tastes like hell.
I love the little Red Bull, like the little ones. You remember like the original one, probably about the same size as the one you got right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it doesn't have more caffeine than the
8.4
full-size
ounces.
one. I know that it's probably the least amount of caffeine you can get. But boy, oh boy, man, those bad boys.
There's something about
That's
drinking
like
the small Red Bull as opposed to the
full size.
full size monster.
Yeah. It really gets you. Also, kids, I don't know, maybe don't drink energy drinks. This is a bad habit to pick up. This is not the worst thing in the world. Do this before you do like heroin. But like,
It probably ain't good for you.
it's like, if you can avoid it,
Yeah, just don't
Avoid
start
it.
ever because you won't stop.
because there's no, like, because you'll always be like, I mean,
Because-
it's not
because
heroin. So.
Once you start drinking energy drinks, nothing else provides that rush anymore.
Oh yeah, like a Coca-Cola, that's water.
Yeah, like even like I got to drink some coffee to get that same feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I love this movie. It doesn't have a whole lot to do with me liking Citizen Kane. I did enjoy the referential pieces to it from the filmmaking side, not necessarily the story side, but from the filmmaking side. That like there are things that I caught onto that I'm like, oh, that's reminiscent of this thing they did in the movie. And like I don't. Maybe you are lost in the movie if you've never seen it. I have no idea. I wouldn't think that like takes something away from it.
My understanding. Tell me if I'm wrong. This is the plot of the movie. Herman Mankiewicz is an alcoholic. Okay,
Yes.
and Orson Welles calls him and says, "I'm making Citizen Kane, and you have full autonomy to come up with the title that I just gave you and write the whole thing." And you got 60 days to do it.
60 days. Yeah.
And then Herman Mankiewicz is like, only if you give me booze. And Orson Welles is like, deal. Right? And then Amanda Seyfried shows up and she's like, I'm a manic pixie dream girl from the 30s.
Well, she shows up
I'm
in the
kind of a
past.
socialist. Oh, she shows up. She shows up in the past. She's not there while he's got his leg lifted and everything.
Well, she is at the very end.
Okay. But like for the most part, that's like the part in that movie about Mary Poppins where like the little girl is a kid and getting beat by the dude from that thing, Colin Farrell.
Yeah. Sorry, you had to take me on a ride there for a second. I forgot about the plot of Saving Mr. Banks, and I was like, nobody gets beaten up in Mary Poppins. That would have been wild.
I did expect more of Saving Mr. Banks in this because it's the same movie, right? Only that one has Walt Disney in it.
Right. And it is infinitely worse.
It is, yeah, it's not as good as this. Although if you were like, Tyler, do you want to watch Mank or Saving Mr. Banks? I would be like, oh, the Disney one.
That is a no-brainer.
To watch Mank?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh my gosh. This is a very long 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Saving Mr. Banks would not end.
That movie is insanely long.
It would not end. I like... It's not even about the story, and I know I'm just going to sound like a pretentious like Oscar Beatty asshole here, but like it's not about the story for me. Yeah, I do like the story. I enjoy the plot. It's just I love the characters. I love listening to the characters interact, and I love watching the way they made the movie. That's that does it for me, honestly.
I do think there's something to be said. I think you and I both watch this movie and we see Herman Mankiewicz and we're like, I think that I am like this person in that I'm like bold and well-read and I
consider
like
myself to be a
author.
tortured artistic genius 100%.
Yes. Yes. And
I'm not even ashamed of that. It's like I went on Sincerely Us a couple weeks ago and said that one day I will be a New York Times bestselling author and I'm not going to apologize for it.
I think you will. I'm not denying that. You catch me denying that?
No, I'm not. I'm not saying you're denying that. It's just like that was a recent thing I had to turn in my life. A corner I had to turn in my life to just say like, hey, I do think that I've got it. And I just haven't necessarily figured out the avenue with which I've got it yet.
The more books I read,
the more I read, that's the only thing this challenge has done for me is to be like, the more books I read is like, how fucking hard can it be to just do this?
well, I think it's also a manner of reading like really good books like these ones, and then reading really only okay stuff.
I've read a bunch of really good books and a bunch of really average books, and I am inspired to write equally by both of them.
Yes.
Just on one hand, like, you know, I can write like these people, and also like I actually can write like these people, the people on the other side. But like,
I don't think I can write like either of these guys. But when I read Bradbury, then you read Fahrenheit 451, and then you read the Martian Chronicles, those are like so different.
yes, Ray Bradbury was an absolute genius.
Yeah, the great.
That's one of the names. Like,
right. I understand that.
They don't have to get Gary Oldman to play him in a biopic for people to know who he is, right? Like that is just he's Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, but like I worry that like I worry about the dumbest stuff about a book I've never written. I'll be like, well, if I write this young adult novel, then nobody will ever let me write something more serious.
I think about that all the time. Of like,
right?
I think about like writing a book and being like, oh God, if I say this thing, like Tyler's gonna think I'm cringy. I'm just like, write the book.
Yeah. Send it to an editor. Have them tell you you're cringy and tell you how to fix it.
You know what your friends are going to say? Holy shit, dude, you wrote a book and got it published. That's so cool. You know what they're not going to say is, wow, this line was kind of whack.
kind of whack when you said that thing on page 10.
Yeah, but that's how my mind goes with it. Yeah. So no, I look at this. I don't look at Herman Mankiewicz as like a person who I need to emulate. Like I do not want to go down the road that he went down.
Okay, so there's a scene in here that I thought was pretty gratuitous. And it was the scene where they were like, this is what Americans would talk about before Hitler rose to power, but while he was kind of rising to power. And I was like, man, this is just...
That's like my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Really?
Yeah.
When they were like, oh, that young Hitler, he won't do anything. Germans are a proud, kind people. Okay, let's... hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, that's the point they're making.
And the whole thing, right, is that they're like, Trump couldn't possibly be bad as Hitler. Like, I get it. I see what you're saying, David Fincher. You're taking the Citizen Kane timeline and you're making it the 2020 timeline. I see what you're doing. That
Louis B. Mayer, the Jew, supports or is against Upton Sinclair because he's a communist and thinks that Hitler can't possibly be that bad.
Now, let me get this straight. Upton Sinclair's socialist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a member of the National Socialist Party until he had to run for that California election.
Bill Nye,
yeah. Coming in side profile to play Upton Sinclair.
I was like, I knew it. Governor of California, I see you.
He didn't win.
Right?
He did not win.
No, he lost to... And then Mank going to the GOP party, man, that was a lesson. That was another one of those things that was like, hey, you need to like at least see what they're doing across the aisle. You'll be disgusted, but like you've got to...
Well, it wasn't even that. Is he helped them get there.
Oh, like he like did the thing, right?
Yeah, he made the movies.
Well, he didn't make the movies, but he like pitched the idea for the movies. That's
he wrote the scripts and stuff for him and Shelley and all of them. That's why Shelley shoots himself.
I didn't like Shelley kept showing up as a character, and I never felt like he was established. So when he died, it was like Beth and Little Women, where I was like, I feel like that was probably a pretty big moment, but it's lost on me.
This one does need a second watch, and I know that is a negative for a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's like the
to like
Snyder
take
cut
the pitch of like, hey, I know this movie didn't really land with you the first time. Watch it again, I swear. Because that's what gets people with Prestige, man.
Prestige gets better every single time.
They'll watch it the first time and be like, I didn't like it. I'm like, oh, but you got to watch it again. They're like, no, I didn't like it. And I'm like, fair. Okay.
I can't imagine not liking the Prestige, though. That's a good one.
I agree. I've not seen either of Christopher Nolan's last two movies, though.
I do think Christopher Nolan is... canceled, I think, is the wrong word. I think the hype surrounding Christopher Nolan's method will become, like, the butt of jokes within the next 5 years.
It already is.
Right. I know. And I think Tenet was like, crap.
Yeah, that one really had to crush.
Yeah. We were doing so well. I think it's so interesting to see like stylistic changes, though. I think that's really fascinating that like Christopher Nolan can come in 2008 with, I know that Memento was before that, but like The Dark Knight really established him as this like fantastic director. And then like all through the 2010s, it was like totally normal to be like, oh yeah, Christopher Nolan's my favorite director. And now it's like, Christopher Nolan's your favorite director?
The hammer will fall for all these dudes, for sure. Anybody
Tarantino, dead.
Wes Anderson, dead.
Anybody
that sticks their neck out, basically.
Yeah. Pretty much moving forward, I've learned the only safe answer for who's your favorite director is Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, Greta Gerwig, Jon Favreau, Joel and Anthony Russo.
Why can't I think of his name? Jordan Peele. People
Jordan Peele, yeah.
Peele.
Anybody that makes A24 movies, probably.
Yeah.
You'd be all right with.
I think Scorsese's still a little safe. It's not so stylized that you can be like, oh, did I say something?
I mean, I would be careful how loud you say that, is all I'm saying.
I think
it's not. People will disagree with you on it's not so stylized. I have landed myself on Martin Scorsese hate talk.
Oh, interesting.
And there's a lot of them out there. That's what I'm saying. The guillotine is going to fall for all these dudes.
You ever been super preppy in college and watched The Wolf of Wall Street and like real conservative and like thought it was the greatest thing ever and kind of like idolized the lead in a way that like, I don't know, was like you were missing the point that he was the bad guy and then watched that movie again 8 years later. And
then realized that he was the bad guy and it's still an absolutely beautiful movie because he's the bad guy, just like every Martin Scorsese movie.
But you're like, oh, I don't want to be Jordan Belfort anymore. I don't want this life at all.
No, not at all. I don't want to be the lead in any Scorsese. Goodfellas, no. The Departed, no. They're all dead. Wolf of Wall Street, no. The Irishman, no. None of them.
Yeah. I don't want to be Jordan Belfort.
The only person whose movies I want to live in is Wes Anderson. They are all pretty safe.
Well, that Isle of Dogs movie seemed a little scary.
For the dogs.
Yeah. I think if you're there, you're a dog.
But I'm not a dog. I'm a person. Yes. I just get to chill in a dog-free Japan, which would kind of suck, but like I would be all right and they would leave me alone.
You ever want to go to Japan? I feel like, man, I don't know, man. I feel like the Far East. I feel like there's some cool stuff out there.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, just so many other places I'd rather go. So this movie was made. It's the first movie ever to be made, I believe, on a like black and white digital movie camera.
Oh, I'm sure there's like a cool thing here, but were the splotches in the top right of the screen anything other than like, look, it looks like a film camera. This is when you change the reel.
I mean, no.
Was there any like significance in the film that like anytime this happens, we're about to change an act? Or was like Citizen Kane shut out of order and the people that like did the reels had to like put the reels on in order? Or like, was there some cool nod there other than like, this is a dumb special effect that we included for no reason?
No.
Okay, then I'm not satisfied with it.
Okay, that's fine.
I do know what it's for. Listener, you remember when you were a kid at the movies and you see the little splotch in the top right corner? That's to signal.
Yeah, you know what? You know who you learned that from? David Fincher.
That's it's in Fight Club. You're right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a signal to the dude in the booth to change it, right? And then in Fight Club, what he does is he splices pornographic images in the middle of like Alice in Wonderland. Oh, it's animated. I know that. I'm trying to think what was out around that time. Yeah.
Oh, I lost you there.
You lost me?
No more, Tyler.
I'm right here.
You disappeared.
I'm right here.
I mean, you froze though. Like,
oh, well, I'm back.
We'll say whatever you said again because the video was frozen.
Okay. What, like, from where?
You were trying to figure out what movie it was.
Oh, I didn't figure.
You said it's animated, and then
it's animated, and like it was the mid-90s or something, but it wasn't like Aladdin. But it was David Fincher definitely did something he wasn't supposed to do.
Well, anyway, that's where you learned that was from Fight Club.
You know I learned that in Fight Club, but I also have like a distinct memory in my brain of like somebody in my real life explaining that to me.
I'm sure they did. They also learned it from Fight Club.
Probably. Or
unless they were like a
movie
projectionist.
Theater. Yeah.
They learned it from Fight Club.
I do think I like the idea of the projectionist. Somebody who's like paid $7 an hour
to make sure the movie works right. Yeah, I would love that.
Like, I would not love that. I would hate it.
No, I don't want to do that job, but I want somebody to do that job for God's sake.
Oh, yeah.
Because we live in Roanoke, Virginia. How many problems have we had with movies?
You, I think, are the problem because I've only ever had issues with films when you're there. And I see a lot of movies.
We used to go to the Tanglewood AMC and speakers would explode in the middle of the movies.
It was in like Theater 7 or something. And it was the same speaker every time.
I tried to see Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom 4 times. Four times.
When the THX sound would go, it'd be like
Okay, so not allowed to like cigarette burns. Am I allowed to like the fact that it's shot in black and white? Or do you have something to that too?
I mean, why do we have color cameras?
What?
Why can't we shoot it in color? I didn't have a problem with it. My only comment on the black and white thing, and this is a me thing, it was very warm today. And I was sitting on my recliner with a blanket watching this black and white movie. And all I could think was like, oh, I'm watching It's a Wonderful Life. And I did doze for a moment and had to rewind.
That's the only black and white movie you've ever seen? But you didn't even watch it black and white. Never mind.
Yeah, I watched that in color. I've seen other black and white movies. If you were like, name them, I would be like,
Schindler's List. Got it.
Schindler's List. I've seen that. Part of The Wizard of Oz.
Not black and white.
Oh, it's like sepia tone. I've seen other black and white movies. There's like early films were like 10 minutes long. So I've definitely seen a few of those.
Yes, this was shot in 8K on the Red Ranger helium monochrome, which is a new thing they've got out because black and white is making a comeback. Because now it is no longer a necessity and you can just do it for effect.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the cigarette burns. I enjoyed the like, you know, the scrapes and scratches on the film that wasn't there. I enjoyed the mono mixed audio with the surround sound just playing the slapback echo of it. The whole thing, I think, is just a vibe, and I really enjoy that vibe from somebody who like works with video and does music videos and does video work. And like, I would love to, you know, someday make a short film or something like that. Like, I enjoy watching movies like this that are crafted as opposed to just shot. Like, this is as interesting to me as stuff shot in a, green screen room in Georgia is.
I don't think anybody's denying that.
They are.
The cinematography here is beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't deny that at all. I just think the story is lacking. Like, I don't know. I no point, like, they say it in the movie, like, we spent $1 million on scripts that we never even make because they don't make me cry. You shouldn't have made this one. It didn't make me cry.
I don't think Louis B. Mayer's correct there, though. Like, I don't think everybody has to cry at it. I think he cries at emotion.
In that scene, Louis B. Mayer makes, like, excellent point, terrible, disgusting point, excellent point. Also, all of your employees are making half their money.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a well-crafted scene where he says a lot of really good stuff and a lot of really bad stuff.
I mean, he says that line about the movie business where he says the only business where the only thing a man gets for his dollar is a memory.
His memory. That's brilliant. The Beatles heard that and were like, yes.
Because, like, these were the people that made... Like, there is no Walt Disney without Louis B. Mayer. There's no...
The Talkies.
Right. Yeah, exactly. William Randolph Hearst, Louis B. Mayer, and Cecil B. DeMille, David O. Selznick, and Paramount Pictures. All of those people. There's no Star Wars. There's no the MCU. There's no any of that without these guys.
There's none of that without H.G. Wells writing War of the Worlds and Orson Welles reading it.
No, Hollywood would have survived without Orson Welles.
I mean, the reason they teach that in history of media classes is because it was, like, the first national broadcast that, like, oh man, we really influence people with this thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just news.
But that's radio.
Right. But without that happening, you don't get Mank writing scripts for phony campaign ads.
That's true. That is true. Although I'm not 100% sure when the War of the Worlds thing happened.
Maybe that was 1919? I don't know.
1938.
1938. So that would have been after this, actually.
No, it would have been after all the flashbacks, but that would have been what, like, sparked Orson Welles' career. In the present moments take place, I believe, in 1940.
Ah, the kid.
Because Citizen Kane came out 41. It does have a 100% Metacritic score.
Citizen Kane?
Yeah.
It must be good.
It is very good. I think you'll hate it. Because old in black and white, it doesn't sound that great. The cinematography is excellent, but in the same way that the cinematography is excellent in movies like It's a Wonderful Life. And it's very big, and it's very heavy, and it doesn't have a lot of fun in it.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, and I had to drag you there kicking and screaming.
To loving it or to watching it?
To watching it. And you didn't even watch it in black and white.
No, I didn't. I believe I suggested it, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, because I'd been saying it for 3 years. I'm like, hey, you should watch some old movies. You're like, I don't like old movies.
I feel like it's not that I don't like old movies, it's that I haven't seen a lot of old movies, which is true for many people.
That is correct, yeah.
And media literacy is important. You should watch old movies. I'm wrong about not watching old movies, unlike making that a priority.
I would agree, and I think I'm in the vocal minority there.
Well, I think, yeah, so I think...
99% of people don't care and think that I'm stupid.
I think in the critic community, which is a space that I think we operate in, like I think our opinion is heard and respected in the critic community. Maybe not as big as anybody on this, Rotten Tomatoes certified critic list, but we put a product out there. We have a big board. We have a score.
If me saying, like, hey, let's watch this movie gets a bunch of 20-somethings to watch this movie, I'm okay with that. If they then go and check out Citizen Kane, even better. Though it's like, that's not one of the ones that I'm going to be like, hey, if you are gonna watch older movies, you should start with Citizen Kane. I wouldn't say that.
Okay, what should you start with?
It's a Wonderful Life.
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz, yeah. I'd love to say Gone with the Wind, but it's 4 hours long. It is beautiful though. Jesus Christ.
Or the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. The Goonies.
No. It's got to be older than Jaws.
I do think so. So one thing that is fascinating to me is how do we get from this to Jaws? How do we get from this to Jaws or Star Wars? In 77, right? Those were both 77. Jaws was 76, maybe.
Jaws is 75.
That's bonkers to me.
75, yeah. So 34 years after Citizen Kane comes out, you have Jaws.
What came out 35 years ago from now? 86?
Back to the Future.
Yeah. We're still there. We're still making that.
Yeah. It's just better effects.
Yeah. And I think Back to the Future would fall into like a mid-budget.
Well, because the problem is you have people that
film these days.
You have people, yeah. Back to the Future, if it's made in 2021, gets made by, I don't know who it gets made by because 20th Century Fox doesn't exist anymore.
It's DCOM.
Oh, God. It absolutely gets, panned and forgotten. And like, why did anybody make this movie? It's not going to win any Oscars. It's not the Avengers.
Real Steel.
The problem is, you get people to push the envelope, right? And then all of a sudden, those movies are only for idiots. Like you can't like a Tarantino movie or a Scorsese movie anymore.
Why not?
Because that makes you an idiot. That makes you that makes you you're no better than The Dorm Room. Right? Like those can't be your favorite movies anymore. David Fincher, I would say, is in the same boat. Like he has got this thing attached to him, right? Where he makes boy movies very well. He directed Fight Club. You can't say Fight Club's your favorite movie anymore.
No, yeah. Fight Club is up there with like Boondock Saints as your favorite movie. Although, man, like this is how I know teenage me had no media literacy. Teenage me was like Boondock Saints and Fight Club equal quality. We're
like, I would say we are 87 days away from, my favorite director's Wes Anderson gets you canceled. And probably about 600 days away from, my favorite director is Chris Nolan gets you canceled.
I don't think it gets you canceled, but it definitely like...
It makes people stop listening to you. It is one of those things where you say that and then your opinion doesn't matter anymore.
Right. It's like, oh, you're coming from that frame of reference.
Yeah.
Well, and that's like, even in fandom communities, I feel the same way. Like when I talk to somebody and they're like, "Oh, Prisoner of Azkaban's my least favorite." Wrong. Absolutely wrong. 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 There's one correct answer for the worst.
5 years you can't like Alfonso Cuarón movies anymore. 5 years. 5 years. You like Roma? Wow. Cool, man.
Everybody likes Roma.
You're so prototypical non-performist.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Yeah. Oh my God.
Everybody's seen it.
That's gonna spin straight back around and slap people in the face. The like, oh, it's a Netflix movie. It's not even worth anything.
You like Roma. This is stupid. This is what's frustrated me about the damn Snyder Cut. A lot bothers me about the Snyder Cut. The fact that they like released it at all is frustrating. But the fact that people are like, "Oh, you still like Marvel movies?"
Exactly.
Shut up.
Exactly.
Shut up.
And because you can 100% say, "Oh, Zack Snyder's my favorite director," and you have a group of people that will celebrate you for that.
Yeah, because those people don't care about David Fincher or Scorsese or any of these people, right? They're not like to them, Zack Snyder is the only fuckboy director.
Right.
Like,
we're still at that's the thing though, is we're still at Back to the Future because the envelope doesn't get pushed at movies that cost $200 million. The envelope gets pushed at movies that cost $2 to $25 million.
Yeah. A24 is the envelope.
Right. Like anybody that makes those kind of movies is like, because they're not safe. Like Avengers Endgame is fantastic. It's the safest movie that's ever been made. It's the surest bet ever. Now, Avengers Infinity War really did something.
Yeah, that's a fantastic film.
That was a shocking moment that nobody could have properly predicted, and nobody did properly predict.
We spent like a year without Spider-Man.
Exactly. And they were just like, they all dead. I think the more time has gone on, they needed to kill one of the original 6 in the blip.
Nah,
The stakes still never felt like they were there. After you think about it for more than 5 minutes, the stakes never felt like they were there.
Hold on. You remember early on in the show, we had a little outline, and part of it would be theory?
Yeah.
I know this isn't the case because we see it and it doesn't happen, but here's my theory. Bruce Banner dies in the blip, but the Hulk says he can't die. Boom. Roasted.
Anyway, one of the original 6 has to die. That makes Infinity War perfect.
Okay, but who were your options? I guess Thor is probably your best bet.
Yeah.
No, Thor's arc in Endgame is the best. But like what they would have done is Clint or Natasha.
Yeah. To be fair, I did think they were going to pretty much unblip it right at the beginning.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's right there at the end.
But like Avengers Endgame is the safest movie that's ever been made, right? And the Russo.
It'd be nice to Avatar.
I couldn't tell you what makes I couldn't tell you what makes a Russo brothers movie, right? Like, there's no style there. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But that's what people want nowadays, this movie made by committee.
I don't know that that's what people want. I think that's what people want out of a blockbuster film. Like I've never seen Sonic the Hedgehog, so this is a bad example. Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
If Wes Anderson made Detective Pikachu, I'm sorry, wrong.
Yeah.
Bad pairing. And this is why people don't like Prisoner of Azkaban. Alfonso Cuarón goes in and makes like an actual
Movie.
like film, out of this series that doesn't match what Chris Columbus
Right, and
was
that's,
doing. Sure as hell doesn't match what David Yates does.
I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, franchise movies, fandom movies aren't real movies. That's stupid, right? Like that's a stupid thing to say. But they're not the same. They can't be the same, and they shouldn't be the same. They have to be made in accordance. Like they have to line up with the franchise, right? It has to feel like a cohesive piece.
Right.
And this is why I think that you're going to see. Obviously, you're seeing things like the MCU and like and everything on the Disneyverse trending more toward this week by week streaming thing, because like that's what these movies were for the last 10 years, right?
I'm really scared to make a comment on Falcon and Winter Soldier because as we're recording this, only 2 episodes are out.
Yeah.
And I'm about to be like,
This
but
is
how
in 3
woke
weeks.
is... Yeah, how woke was that show? Amazing.
God.
And I'm really scared that like 2 weeks from now, they're going to be like, white supremacy is
Okay,
key.
but like we know the arc of WandaVision, right? Like WandaVision's fantastic.
WandaVision's not safe. Falcon and Winter Soldier, 2 weeks in, not safe.
It's safer.
Then what?
Than most things.
Then Mank?
Yeah. Well, it's like the door on Falcon Winter Soldier is already swinging in the other direction of like more and more are the people that's like, okay, yeah, this is just lazy though.
Who's saying that show's lazy?
A lot of people of color.
Oh man, that is not the reviews I've seen.
I'm not here to comment on that one way or the other. Again, this is after episode 2.
Who knows what happens? It could get so bad.
But they're saying the kind of things, and I did start to think about this afterward. Is they're saying the kind of things in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where like dudes like us that are like still sort of getting acclimatized to our progressivism are going to stand there and be like, yes, absolutely, 100%, yeah, the cops, right? And like that is sort of it's not a bold take anymore, right? Like everybody pretty much agrees with you. You know, Donald Trump couldn't find anybody to play at his inauguration or whatever. Like,
That dude sucks.
like, yeah, like there's no other opinion, right? And I get that like the other option is for them to just not say it. but it's not like they're saying it and they're gonna suffer for it.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people who are like, oh, I don't like the way they're treating police in that Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Like, that's not going to put Disney Plus out of business.
No, because
and that's the thing it is still,
they have cemented my membership.
it is activism by committee. Again, still, it's just like, because how many people did that have to go through, do you think, before they were like, yeah, okay, we can show cops being mean. We're okay. We'll survive it. Like, somebody ran a risk analysis on that and was like, how many subscribers do you think we're going to lose if we say ACAB?
I think if they said that, they would lose a lot.
And that's what people are saying is like, we hear what you're doing. Now say it. Now say it. Say the thing. Gay. Right. Say Bucky's gay. Have somebody on screen say the cops.
Yeah.
That's what people are saying right now. And again, we're 2 weeks into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I have no idea what happens in the show between now and the time that this episode airs.
Things can get bad for us.
You might see a future Ethan cut right here. What's up, Bacon and Eggs viewers and listeners? I said I'd give you a future Ethan cut if things got wild in the next 2 episodes of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm now editing this show, and episode 4 has come out, and we had no idea what was gonna happen. If you haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, go head over to Disney Plus. Check out our Marvel Monday shows. But like, oh my god, we don't talk enough about Gary Oldman. We the royal we in the world don't talk enough about Gary Oldman.
This is a hot take. I just don't care.
Why?
Okay, Gary Oldman was one of those actors that prior to his Oscar, people were like, look at this man. He was in all these amazing movies. He's so good. Where's his Oscar? He's got it now.
Okay.
I don't know. He's very good. Like, there's no denying that he's very good. I just what's that movie that he was in, the sci-fi movie that people always post GIFs of?
The Fifth Element.
Yeah. Not about The Fifth Element. You
haven't seen that movie?
Correct, which is why I'm not about it. Am I sure The Fifth Element is fantastic? Yes.
Yeah, movie absolutely bangs. You would love it, my dude. It is shoved up your alley. Fucking Bruce Willis, man.
Bruce Willis and Gary Oldman and Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich, I believe it. You can just say it with the letters that are in it.
I like it when they have accents and sound foreign. Bruce Willis is one always throws me off when he shows up in all these sci-fi movies. I know that that's kind of his thing, but it always throws me off. I always think Die Hard, you know?
Yeah, he was John McClane, or is John McClane, I guess. They're probably not done making those movies.
I'm sure they sell. I'm sure, yeah, he's rumored to be playing John McClane in McClane.
Hell yeah. Let's
I'm
go,
sure
Bruce
he's
Willis.
Got the part.
No, Bruce Willis' Corbin Dallas in The Fifth Element was fantastic. You should watch that movie.
Yeah, maybe we'll cover that next week or the following week. 1997.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I did not see it when it was in theaters because I was 4.
No, because you were 4?
Yeah, I was 4. I think that's a cold take on Gary Oldman. I love Gary Oldman. He's in a lot of fantastic movies. He does a really good job in a lot of movies. And he was very much overlooked for a long time.
That's I guess where I don't feel like this is true. Like I feel like in the movie community, in the community surrounding people who watch films, I don't know. I feel like he's always been pretty well regarded. He's freaking Sirius Black.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big part. He's Jim Gordon.
Yeah. And he gets forgotten about. I don't think he
he was Pontius Pilate in the Jesus miniseries. The man sent Jesus to his
He does
death.
not get to he does not get enough screen time as Sirius Black, in my opinion.
No, yeah, if the Potter films do one thing well, it is casting. And I know there's some critique there, like Snape, Alan Rickman was like pretty freaking old to be playing Snape, but like nailed it, you know?
Yeah, it just made everybody else old too. So then you get David Thewlis and Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
And whatever Peter Pettigrew's name was, the dude who played him.
Don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't understand how Peter Pettigrew was in the friend group. That's my biggest issue with these dang Marauders.
Because there's like 8 of them total in the class that are dudes.
Yeah, and Neville is never part of the group.
Yeah, and a lot of people have a problem with that.
Like Seamus and Dean are friends, and Harry and Ron are friends.
Seamus and Dean and Neville are friends.
No, it's not a triad. Seamus and Dean are friends. Neville is there. Neville is friends with Harry and Ron and friends with Seamus and Dean, but he's also not as good friends with any of them as they are with their counterpart character.
He's friends with Ginny. He gets Ginny out of it.
Except Harry gets Ginny out of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Snogzer.
No, I like Gary Oldman.
I have to read these Potter books upcoming around the time that this comes out. I'll be on an episode of
the restricted section,
talking about like chapter 14, I think, of Prisoner of Azkaban.
Which one is that?
In order to prep, it's like the Knot or something.
Gotcha.
It's the one where they go into the Shrieking Shack. Anyway, so in order to prep, I have to read the best one, the worst one, and then the other best one.
At no point is Sorcerer's Stone the best one.
It is when you're 6 and you've never read any
Okay,
of the
right,
rest
but
of
like,
them.
but then they get better after that.
Yeah. No, not immediately did they get better.
No, but 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all better than 1.
I don't know if that's a cold take.
No, it's not.
I don't know, man. I'll have to read the whole
The
series.
story gets
again.
better as Harry gets older.
I know that I'm not supposed to read the series, but I already own it, right? So like, just gonna have to.
So why did you hate this movie?
I just don't feel like there's much, like I'm not at all attached to any of the characters.
That's wild.
And that, I think, is what gets me. Is that, like, even Gary Oldman's character, I'm watching him like, wow, he's really acting his butt off. But I don't give a crap about him. I cared more about him than the rest of them, and I was like, oh, look at these dirty Republicans. I bet this movie was made in Hollywood. Pushing an agenda. Yeah, I don't know. They kept calling LB Mayor LB, and I was like, is that a Lyndon B. Johnson joke? Do I know nothing about American history? Are they like laying something on thick right here?
No, I think that's just what people called him.
LB, kind of like LJ in The Blind Side.
SJ. Sean Jr.
Yeah, Michael Orr didn't like that movie, so I don't know what you want from me.
Michael Orr was a real dick about it too.
Yeah, I think they make a movie about your life and you shut up and play football.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Orr might be the only person I would say that to. It put a target on my back. Sorry. You play football.
You're a left tackle.
You're a left tackle. You already had a target on your back. Sorry that people were reminded that you were there.
Yeah. That you were the best player in your position at LSU or Ole Miss.
Yeah, and then he got to the NFL and he was just big and not the best player anymore.
He was good. He was good when he was in Baltimore, right? And then when he was traded, it was like,
he's only ever been all right.
I don't know. I don't follow left tackle careers for teams I don't care about very closely.
I follow Michael Orr's career.
Yeah.
Because at the time that he made all those complaints, he had like just gotten traded to Carolina and like hated it.
He's playing for Ron Rivera. Who would hate that?
Probably somebody that has a block for Cam Newton. I would hate that job.
Big dude.
Big dude runs a lot. Mobile quarterback.
I love sports. I asked it on Twitter the other day, what's a hobby or what's something that's like cool to be interested in? And people kept saying sports.
Oh, dude, I've gotten hard back into racing.
Right, like NASCAR?
Like NASCAR, like Formula One.
No way.
Yeah, it's happened. I'm a motor racing fan again.
Tell me about that.
I don't know, dude. It just like reawakened some primal mentality in me.
Yeah, were you driving? Did you hit Crystal Creek one day and you were
No.
like, yes. Yes.
So I like my mom's side of the family were big race people. Like they used to go to the Indy 500 every year. Like one of my grandmother's siblings bought a house like as close as she possibly could to the track. And they would just like walk.
Isn't that scary?
What?
Isn't that scary?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Isn't the Indy 500 loud? I feel like it's loud.
One day a year.
And they're there.
Yeah, so no, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like a football stadium where it's every single weekend. It is one day a year.
Even a football stadium, I always get so mad at the people who complain about the football stadium. One, if you live that close, just go to the game. I get that, like...
Right. I'd rather live near a football stadium than over top of a bar.
Yeah.
Like I currently do now.
But, like, also, a college team plays 6 home games.
Yeah, 7?
It's a 12-game season, right?
Yeah, I think they play 7 home games.
That's stupid. How does that math work out?
Because there's a bunch of teams.
I guess. Anyway, 6 or 7, and then maybe some playoff games. Like, it's not that frequent that you have to listen to these freaking crowds. Just go to the game. I tell you, the football season, it feels like it lasts a long time. 17 games this year.
It's like,
heard this.
Is it really?
17 games, yeah.
Wild.
We added them today, I think.
Why?
Washington added the Bills to their schedule.
What was the reason?
Preseason was too long, so it's now a 3-week preseason and 17-game regular.
I would agree. Preseason is too long. Cut preseason entirely.
Yeah, I would cut it another week and add a second bye week.
Nah, 18 games is great.
18 games would be great. Fine, cut it 2 weeks.
Why do you need a second bye
I think
week?
second bye would be smart.
Why?
Injuries are crazy in the NFL.
Okay. Bye week doesn't stop people from getting injured.
Yes, it does. Lets them rest. I think
if that was the point, and like, oh, it lets them rest, then they wouldn't be able to pick their bye weeks.
Do they get to pick their
Pretty
bye
sure,
weeks?
yeah. And some of them have it week 4.
This is not a sports podcast. I can tell you that much. If you're coming to listen to Tyler and Ethan, be like, oh, they're authorities on sport.
Anyway, so I was here's how it happened. Is I was bored of playing 2K on my Xbox. And I looked to see what other games I had already downloaded that I could just dive into on my Xbox. And one of those games was F1 2020.
And so you were like,
And so I jumped into it. And this was exactly the time that Netflix put out the 3rd season of their like docuseries about F1. So I was like, you know what? I've been enjoying this game. Maybe I'll watch it. And then I did really enjoy watching it and to like turn the drivers into like people for me. And so then I was suddenly invested in the stories behind these people.
Get out of town. Can you imagine this if the BBC was like, we're going to do a docuseries on American football to really sell the British audiences on American football?
It's exactly what Netflix did, was they partnered with some British company that was like, we need to get the Americans into Formula One. We're going to make a Netflix series about it.
Like, how would that even be shot? And be like, we sat down with acclaimed quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick to ask him about his career, which has bounced all around the NFL.
It's exactly what they do. And you know what the beauty of it is most of it is already shot anyway because they televise the events.
Right.
So it's like very easy for them to just be like, oh, here's footage of XYZ. And they got in there and like it followed them around with cameras and stuff. You see a lot of behind the scenes, but I love behind the scenes stuff is the thing. They took us inside the locker rooms.
Of the Formula U.
Yeah, Formula 1. The drivers, yeah.
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. Yeah, I mean, it activates the same part of my brain that watching Top Gear does. So I watched the Bahrain Grand Prix on Sunday, like live.
When are you gonna supercharge your Celica? Like
Never. Never.
Supercharge. Make it like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know how a supercharger works. I do not know what the difference. Do not know what the difference between a supercharger and a turbocharger is. I know what a turbocharger does vaguely.
Brings in more oxygen than it's supposed to. I know that.
It like shoots hot air back through the engine. Yeah.
Yeah, like sucks
Like
oxygen
it like
in.
spins the exhaust back into the engine to give it another go.
Yeah. Zoom.
Anyway, Formula
Makes
One's
sense.
nuts.
So.
Everyone should watch it. It's going to be insane this year, I think.
Yeah, who do you got winning the whole thing? Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Tampa Bay, or where does he
He's
play
up
now?
at Washington
football team. Yeah.
QB1, baby.
No, I mean it's going to be Lewis Hamilton for the 8th time in a row.
WFT to the moon.
That's the problem with Formula One is it's going to be Lewis Hamilton for the 8th year in a row.
You laugh about that, but it's always Tom Brady. It's always LeBron James. It's always Serena Williams. It's always Roger Federer. It's always Bubba Watson, who's big in golf right now.
Right?
Jordan
Yeah. Okay, but it would be
Spieth.
like if Tom Brady, if the
Won all 8 rings
Patriots
in a
won
row.
8 Super Bowls in a row and nobody else got to play for the Super Bowl. It's like they didn't have an AFC season. They just announced that Tom Brady and whoever he was with was going to be in the Super Bowl 8 years in a row, and the other people had to try to beat him. That's why NASCAR is so great, is because NASCAR is stock car racing. All the cars have to be the same, and you have to be able to go buy one from a dealership. Ostensibly.
2-door Camry.
Theoretically, I think you have to be able to like con Toyota into selling you a Camry with a 5.7 liter V8 engine in it.
I'm sure you can. I guarantee you. Cost of 5.7.
I don't know how big the engine is. It's probably bigger than that. But I seriously doubt that they just make a like, because it has to be carbureted. Like you have to have a carburetor engine on it. And
Is it a V8?
mm-hmm. Although next year we're getting a new NASCAR.
Yeah. It is 5.7 liter.
It is 5.7?
That's a giant engine.
In a Toyota Camry, a Ford Mustang, and a Dodge Charger. Yeah, no, it was supposed to be this year that they were going with Gen 7, but it'll be next year. New cars, single lug wheels.
Single lug
wheels.
Yoop. You know,
No, but it's just Yoop now. I'll tell you what, I could watch Formula One pit stops all day. They take less than 2 seconds. It's a thing of beauty.
Oh yeah.
To watch those people do the tire changes, it's like you can't process what's going on because it's less than 2 seconds.
It's quick.
And they're out.
This probably makes noise.
Anyway, so I've gotten into motor racing, so we'll see how that goes. That's my new sports fixation.
So tell me why Mank is this your best picture winner so far?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think it's going to win. I don't think any of the ones I've seen are going to win.
What do you think is going to win?
Probably either Nomadland or Minari. I've heard really good things about Sound of Metal. What have I seen so far? Hang on.
I've heard really good things about Sound of Metal.
It's apparently very tough. I think Riz Ahmed is going to get the best actor for that, from what I've heard. Oh, no, because he's going to lose to Chadwick Boseman.
You cannot order a V8 Camry. But ideally, they exist.
Yeah. So that's the should be a stock car racing is that they have to be like to some extent it's all the same car. It's all about the driver. That is not so much true with Formula One. Because like Mercedes can just make a car better than everybody else because they're better at making cars.
But then doesn't everybody just drive the Mercedes?
No, because Mercedes doesn't let them. Because Mercedes can say, no, this is our secret car. Which is wild because their biggest competition right now is Red Bull, the energy drink manufacturer.
It's also the biggest competition for most soccer teams.
But so they're up against Mercedes is up against like McLaren and Ferrari and Aston Martin and the energy drink company. And the energy drink company is the one really giving them the beans.
I mean, who's actually building their cars though?
I mean, the racing team is. Like, it's just Red Bull Racing.
It's just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, that make Formula One cars, right? Like you have to build 2 cars basically, the whole for a year, and then.
You know, a movie I was thinking a lot about. This movie made me think of was the old Ford versus Ferrari.
Watched that movie last night.
That one. Yeah, very good.
Watched that movie last night.
What made me think of it was I watched Trial of Chicago 7 for this show, and I was like, man, this is really good. It doesn't feel super Oscar baity. It just feels like really good movie. Like watching Mank, I was like, they made this for the Oscars. It's got an Oscar speech in it.
That is true. So far I've seen Judas and Black Messiah, Mank, The Trial of Chicago 7, and Promising Young Woman.
Of those, what's your winner?
I mean, this is the best movie out of those for me, but it's the least interesting one to win.
I think I've only seen Trial of Chicago 7 and Mank. And Trial of Chicago 7 was better than this. They both had the same message, though, right? Like, conservatives bad.
I would rather watch The Trial of Chicago 7.
Yeah, same. The movie was sweet.
Promising Young Woman was a very, very good movie. It is not at all what you expected it to be.
I've never seen Lady Bird, but I expected it to be Lady Bird.
It is not Lady Bird. It is not Lady Bird at all.
No, it's not, right? It's about it's like oddly modern, right? And it's a whole bunch of like sex positive women.
Yeah, no.
Find out, won't we? I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, you really do. It is that is the one out of all these that I recommend that you watch. It was fantastic. Caitlin loved it. I think it was probably like her favorite movie she's ever seen.
These Oscar movies usually are very good.
And then the only reason I haven't watched the rest of them, which are Nomadland, Minari, The Father, and Sound of Metal, is because they're all going to make me cry like a little child. And I haven't really been in a headspace for that.
My actual little child has been crying more. She had a nightmare last night.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah.
I almost asked what about, but she can't tell you that.
Yeah, she has no idea. I just, like, she rarely cries in the middle of the night, so that's the only reason we ever know.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That just breaks your heart, just hearing about it.
Yeah. Well, because, like, I don't put much value into, like, dreams and what they mean and stuff, but, like, I only ever have nightmares if I'm particularly stressed or anxious, for the most part. There are times where it's like, I wake up and I'm like, that was stupid. But I'm not even stressed, and I just had a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, I have dumb nightmares where I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Like, I'm just frightened and angry.
Yeah, I'm mad.
No.
I didn't go to bed mad. I woke up mad. But I would say for the most part, if I have like a nightmare or a night terror, it's because of, outside stress. So it worries me that she's got like my niece struggles with anxiety, so I'm really nervous about that with her.
Man, she's 1.5. What's she got to be anxious about?
Do whatever she wants. I don't think it's I think it's a chemical thing, not
no, for sure. No, I'm 100% on board with that. I get the trauma nightmares for sure.
I believe
yeah.
it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be.
No. Yeah, there are not good nights.
Yeah.
That is just sort of a side effect of the things that I went through. They are not necessarily stress related. I don't think. They just sort of happen.
I don't know. I don't want this to sound diminishing because it's not. But I think you will look back on your mid to late 20s
as a time when I was constantly stressed 100% of the time. Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. But they are not, there's no noticeable stressor, right? Like,
yeah. Like when I think back to the times in my life where I was going through something.
yeah.
I remembered the day-to-day of that and being like, I'm good.
Yeah. No, I'm aware of
And
that.
then looking back on it and being like,
But I also can't, I can't sit here every day and be like, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed, I'm depressed,
yeah,
I'm
for
depressed.
sure.
Right? Like I'm not having any fun then, right? Like that ruins everything.
right.
So point.
I'm not saying you should.
I'm not
saying.
saying you are saying I should. There's just no point in focusing on it for me. But so from the outside, from the inside of the outside, it looks like just another night. And I do just definitely get like thought spirals where like,
Oh, man.
there'll be just some random event and I'll just be like, well, that ruined my day. Cool.
You ever alone with your thoughts? I avoid it.
Yeah, I am alone a lot. So
Right, but like audiobooks, video games, anything to occupy my brain.
Mm-hmm. that was sort of the point I was making. Is that like I've read 48 books this year and I'm currently like 3 seasons deep in several sporting games because I'm alone a lot.
TikTok, man. You ever keep scrolling on TikTok and be like, I've seen it all.
No, it just keeps coming, man. John Mayer has a new TikTok out every time I need one.
Ravioli shoes.
Ravioli shoes, the making of the rhyme scheme behind ravioli shoes, the making of the lyrics behind ravioli shoes, the making of the music.
Here's the problem is this episode's going to come out in 3 weeks and people are going to be like, ravioli shoes? Old
news,
guys.
bro. Ravioli shoes was brand new when this episode was recorded. Ravioli shoes is 48 hours old at most.
Yeah.
John Mayer is the best TikToker, fun fact.
He is.
Because he just shit posts.
There's no committee
From
to
a
it.
blue check account of a Grammy-winning recording. Like, part of it is the sell, right? It's Will Ferrell being in Stranger Than Fiction. It's John Mayer being John Mayer. Shit posting constantly.
This is how Lil Nas X like became Lil Nas X.
Absolutely.
Was like, I'm gonna make he made Old Town Road and he was like, I'm gonna make silly TikToks about it, and that's gonna
He's like, I'm gonna make enough noise that they will not be able to ignore me. Like,
right. And I like people I think don't remember how big of a deal Old Town Road was.
yeah, it was a huge deal. And he just released that video and blew up and sold $1,000 shoes, and a buddy of mine bought one and got interviewed by the New York Times about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That song rips.
It does. Absolutely bangs. Has absolutely nothing to do with the music video either.
Yeah. No.
Those two things are disconnected entirely. He was just like, I got a statement to make.
Yeah. Big fan of that track.
Christians be like, gay people go to hell. Lil Nas X goes to hell. Christians, not like that, though.
It's not what you think it is.
I don't think I've ever been more embarrassed to have ever called myself a Christian than the last 3 days.
Oh, I know. It's like infuriating. It's like
we had more backing to actually murder Jesus than we did for this dude. Like,
yeah.
This stuff is ridiculous.
But anytime people start being like, people my age start being like condemning any artist for satanic imagery or anything like that, I'm like, whoa, hold up. You don't get to listen to any classic rock anymore.
Yeah.
Ever. No more Beatles.
No more Mozart,
anything.
man. Like,
yeah. Like,
Don Giovanni? No. Wrong.
You're done.
Wrong. Phantom of the Opera? Wrong.
You don't get it. You're missing the point.
Star Wars? That is Darth Maul. He's basically Satan. He looks like Satan.
Harry Potter?
Witchcraft? Wrong. Twilight? Wrong. The Vampire Diaries? Wrong.
The American flag?
Wrong.
Has stars.
Yeah. 5-pointed stars like a pentagram.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when it's waving in the wind, one of them goes upside down.
God. For those of you who are not watching the video, I'm shaking my head in disgust.
If you're not watching the video,
go watch the video. I put a lot of work into these. Freaking one with Mike Schubert that we did all out of order and backwards took me like 3.5 hours today. Go watch that. It was 2 weeks ago, but go watch it.
Ethan Edgehill, the editor of Late to the Party, is rolling his eyes that you're complaining about a 3.5 hour bacon and eggs project.
Bacon and eggs does not take me 3.5 hours is the problem. I have it booked out for that time slot. And this, even with the videos, this one was just like cumbersome. Just a lot of like, all right, I gotta put this all together. And like, because I didn't record 18 minutes of my audio and like, oh, it was a mess.
Let's rank this bad boy.
Let's do it. Oh, right. I need to do listeners because there's not that many of those, so this shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, I thought about like a system for like if you like getting scores after our review, but then I just don't know how to successfully do that.
What do you mean?
What did I say for this? 72?
73, I believe. But if you want to change it to 72, that's fine.
No, I'll be fair. Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes audience is rough here.
I'm not shocked that people did not love it as much as I did, and I don't care.
You know that TikTok where the dude's like, I don't think I'm better than people. It's just that I'm better than... There's no good way to say this. I think I'm better than the average person. You know that TikTok?
No, but no, I don't.
Oh. Well, that's the whole sound. And I feel like that's you liking this movie. So just to recap, listener, to confuse Ethan, if you want your scores in, so the rubric is 25% of our 100-point scores comes from me, 25% comes from Ethan. Rotten Tomatoes gets 15%. Metacritic gets 5%. The Rotten Tomatoes audience score gets 5%. 61 on this one.
Rotten Tomatoes audience score gets 61%.
It's the part that we remove when a guest is here. They get that 5%. And then the listener score, which is you, gets 25%. And if you want your score for a movie, there's two ways to get it. There's the free version, which is to join our Facebook group where we ask for scores and you can discuss and have conversations about the film in the comments section. But all we take is the numerical score. Or you can join our Discord server, which is a $3 perk on our Patreon, where you can come in and we ask for scores and we read reviews from that on the show. And that's a great way to get a little shout out on the show. And it's just a great way to interface with the films. But yeah, so those are your two options. And then that listener score, we add them all up, divide them. We do it entirely by hand because we can't find a better system and because we're not very smart.
And that listener score is an 81.
That brings this movie to an 82.95, which is a bacon and egg score of 83, which puts it out of the top 10, but not far, just below Ratatouille in the 12th
Oh, for
spot.
fuck's sake. That's a crime.
Disagree.
Ratatouille sucks.
Disagree.
One of the worst Pixar movies for sure.
Disagreed.
I would rather watch this than Ratatouille. I would rather watch The Trial of Chicago 7 than Ratatouille. I'd rather watch any David Fincher movie than Ratatouille, actually.
Trial of Chicago 7 did beat Ratatouille. So far, I thought Ma Rainey's Black Bottom got the Best Picture nomination. Did it not?
Did not, no. It got Best Actor and Best Actress, I believe.
And Best Adapt? No,
it did not get Best Adapted Screenplay.
Which I thought was weird.
Yeah, me too.
But that's our highest Oscar film so far this year. Trial of Chicago 7 following it, and then Mank following that. None of these other movies came out.
What did Pixar Soul get? That's an Oscar nominee.
It
It's
is
actually the same people that got Oscars nominees for this movie as well.
It's an 80.
Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor with Oscar nominations for Mank and Soul. Those are the 9 Inch Nails people, by the way. I do just want to remind everybody of that. That the 9 Inch Nails people did the score for Soul, the Pixar movie. These are the people that wrote the song Closer.
Can you take me
No,
closer?
that's Creed.
No,
I'm not gonna say the words to Closer by 9 Inch Nails here on the podcast because I already have enough things to edit out of this episode. Stop. I have enough F words to edit out of this episode that I do not need to add more by quoting Trent Reznor.
So anyway, Mank, to recap, 83, Ratatouille, 84, Stranger Than Fiction, 83, but lower 83.
I'd rather watch Stranger Than Fiction than Ratatouille.
That'd be a toss-up for me.
That's so whack.
Ratatouille slaps.
It doesn't.
Dude. I love that movie.
It doesn't.
Oh, it's so good. I'm a big
Bottom
big-
5 Pixar movie for sure.
Oh, disagreed. I'm trying to think what would be bottom 5. Cars 2, Cars 3,
Cars 1.
Cars.
Monsters University.
Oh, Seamus will hear you. Be nice to Monsters U.
I'm not being nice to Ratatouille either.
Trying to think. Pixar movies. Which Pixar? Soul.
Bad take. Icy
bad
cold take.
Tyler.
Icy cold
bad
take.
take.
I
that's
need
the
you to come
one.
around on Soul. I need you to come around on Soul.
I'm certain I will. It's just, Onward was just so good. Got the nomination. I hope it wins.
I hope it loses to Soul. Honestly, I hope it loses to a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon.
I hope it loses to Farmageddon.
It's a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. You have to say the whole thing.
A Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon.
I've never been pulling for a movie harder. For no reason.
I bet that movie slaps.
I think the first one has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Or maybe a 99% or something. I don't know. Anyway, we got graphics by Vaishon Brandon. We got music. It's by Andrew Scott Bell. You can find those people in the description of this episode. We are Bacon and Eggs, a movie lovers podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts, and now on Spotify. Tyler, who are we supported by this week?
Part of the WBNE podcast network. So if you like this show and you want to listen to more like it, there are 8 different shows you can listen to. They're all fantastic, covering different genres, different things. If you want more review, we have shows like that. If you want something maybe more like fantasy driven, we have shows like that. But this week, I really want to highlight, if you love musical theater, we have a show called Sincerely Us. It's hosted by 2 musical theater super fans who do an excellent job of making musical theater just accessible and interesting, and it's a great stepping stone if you're like, man, I really love this original Broadway cast recording of Hamilton. It's so good. I wish there was people I could talk to about this. Look no further. Sincerely Us, a podcast for the casual musical theater fan.
Yeah.
You can listen to previews of their beautiful voices right here.
Dear listener, today's going to be a good day, and here's why.
Because today we have found your new favorite podcast.
Do you like all things musical theater?
Or do you just like Hamilton?
Then Sincerely Us is perfect for you.
We take deep dives into modern musicals and teach you all that you need to know.
From props and sets
to playwrights and composers,
we will get you caught up on all things Broadway.
We are Becca and Eni, 2 best friends,
here to teach you all about the shows that we love.
Sincerely Us, a podcast for the casual musical theater fan.
Join us every Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts and on WBNE.org.
I was just on Sincerely Us. Go listen to that episode talking about the last 5 years. It was a good time.
I don't know what the last 5 years is. I think it's a musical with Jeremy Jordan.
It is a musical with Jeremy Jordan. It is a movie musical with Jeremy Jordan. It is also a musical without Jeremy Jordan sometimes.
Is it accessible via Netflix?
Not at the moment. No. I don't think so.
We haven't done something, I'm going to say this, but I think I'm wrong. That's like, you can watch it on Netflix in a while.
We did Mank.
I know that.
Okay.
But like, prior
We did the
to
Trial of
that-
Chicago 7.
Is that a Netflix?
It was a
one?
Netflix
I thought I had
original
read
movie.
that
Yeah.
one.
So was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Netflix killing it.
Yeah. Hang on, I could tell you because the last three movies were on Disney Plus. Wonder Woman was on HBO Max.
Yep.
We've been hitting the streaming for sure. Before that was
Cinderella
Trial of
was on
Chicago
Disney
7.
Plus.
Yeah. Isle of Dogs is on Disney Plus. Cinderella's on Disney Plus.
Isle of Dogs is on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. What?
Yeah, all the Wes Anderson movies are coming to Disney Plus because they bought Fox Searchlight.
Nice.
Yeah, so they own one of the Wes Anderson movies now.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
What?
I don't know. That's the Disney machine.
Oh,
Gobble, gobble,
I
gobble.
thought that was a sound you were associating with Wes Anderson movies. I was like, what are you talking about?
That's not a thing, man.
Did I miss a Wes Anderson movie about a talking turkey? Like,
Gobble, 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 gobble,
it's
gobble.
Fantastic Mr. Turkey.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Anyway, stream Willow. Stream Overdue Confessions by Sam C. Jones.
By the Sam C. Jones.
Yeah. Have you been listening to our Falcon and Winter Soldier show? I don't know if the show's still any good, but the music for our show, fantastic.
I'm gonna get out of
Sam C.
bed and
Jones.
start my day. Cook up a breakfast, bacon and eggs.
That's us.
It fits so perfectly in the like time that we do our intro as well, the like abbreviated Mandalorian
Yeah.
intro.
Yeah.
Like I had to do nothing, just like whoop. Envelope filter.
And thank you for hanging out with us. You're beautiful. I could kiss you on the mouth.
As long as you're vaccinated.
And as long as you're my wife. Or my child. But not in like a weird Tom Brady way.
On that disturbing note, I've been eating at Chili's with Tyler Carlin. Until next time, arrivederci.
Atticus Finch.
This has been a WBNE production. For more great shows, visit WBNE.org.